Chapter 3 of the book of Esther. We see this one character named Haman. Haman became one of the most powerful noble in the empire. So powerful that the king ordered that everybody that comes across him needs to bow and show him respect. But Mordecai refused. Mordecai refused to bow down to this man. And we can see this in Esther chapter 3, verse 2. Then the palace officials came to Mordecai and asked him, "Why do you keep disobeying the king? Why won't you bow down to this man to show him respect?" And Mordecai really didn't give him an answer. So the palace officials came to Haman and they asked him, "Hey, are you going to take this guy's disrespect? He does not want to bow in front of you. He does not want to bow to you. He doesn't want to show you respect. Are you going to take this?" You could tell that these palace officials, they're just trying to stir up some beef. And then one of the palace officials told Haman, "Hey, you know what? I think this guy might be a Jew." Yeah, he told us that he was a Jew. So instead of Haman taking him one-on-one, he decided, since this guy is not showing me respect, I'm not only going to take him out, I'm going to take out his whole race. So he decided that he wants to take out all the Jews. Now he made this decree, and while he's making this decree, he needs to get it approved by the king. So he went up to the king and he buttered him up. Made him seem like, hey, you know what? These people, they're against our culture, they're against society, they're a danger to us as Persians. And you know what? I think we need to get rid of them because they're not following the laws you follow. They're making their own gods and they're not giving you respect and whatnot. And he's buttering this guy up. And then to top it all off, he said, "If it pleases the king, I will donate 10,000 large sacks of silver to the treasury of this empire." If we look at it today, and 10,000 large sacks of silver, that's equivalent to $3.23 billion. $3.23 billion was the price of a genocide of a whole race. That's how much he was bought for. $3.23 billion. Now, you might be thinking, man, that's a hefty amount of money. True, but is it really worth a whole race? Is it really worth to kill so many people because you were mad at one man? But the king agreed. The king agreed, and this genocide date was set. It was set for the next year on March 7th. And in chapter 4, we see that Mordecai, once he received this decree and once he sees what is happening, he was so distraught, he was so sad, and he was so angry because his people were the ones that were being attacked. His people were the ones that are going to get genocide because of a man that was so mad at him. He didn't want to take him on like a man. He decided, you know what? I'm going to use my power. I'm going to use my influence to get rid of everybody. When Mordecai heard this, he was so much in anger. He was so sad. He was had so much emotion going inside of him that he had no clue what to do. So what he did, he started ripping his clothes of anger because it's his people that were going to get killed because one man decided not to go one-on-one with him. He decided to take on his whole race and kill his whole race. As soon as he read that decree, his whole mood changed. Now, by this time, the king had no clue that Esther, his wife, was a Jew. She kept it secret because Mordecai, her cousin, told her, keep it a secret until it's the right time to tell him. So Mordecai wrote a letter to Esther and told her, hey, this is happening. We need you to step up right now and tell the king that you are a Jew and see if he will give us mercy because of you. And he started telling her, if you don't do anything, our whole race of people are going to die. And don't think just because you are in the palace that you are going to be safe. He might be come after you next as soon as he finds out that you are a Jew. Esther wrote a letter back and said, Mordecai, if I go to the king without being summoned or without him asking me to come, I will surely die. Everybody knows in the kingdom that if the king does not call on you, you will be put to death because you're interrupting him. And he sees that as a sign of disrespect. In that same letter, Esther tells him, you know what? Let's do this. Gather everybody. Gather all the Jewish community in this one city called Susa. Gather them up together and tell them to fast for 3 days and 3 nights. Me and my servants will do exactly the same. I'm going to go up to the king and I'm going to tell him that I am a Jew. And the most famous quote of this Bible verse, she said, if I die, I die. And that's how the book ends. Book ends with that one famous quote. If I die, I die. Sometimes in life, we're going to be put in a situation where it's me against the world, or where it's you against the world. Sometimes it might be like that. Sometimes there's going to be hard decisions to make. And sometimes it's going to happen multiple times. As long as we stay in contact with God and we stay in faith with God, good things could happen. We might not see it then. We might not even see it in our lifetime. But later on, you will be an influence to somebody else. You will become a hero to somebody else. And you have to have that type of mentality that if you die in the process. I want you to read these 2 chapters. I want you to read these 2 chapters. And I want you to find God in this process. I want you to find, where is God putting things in order? Where is he putting his hand for all this to happen? Because of course, God doesn't want his people to die, right?